Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Baer and I'm here to build a knockoff Lego set and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can just say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you want to be a lurker and not say anything at all and just hang out, you can also do that. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Happy to have you here. John is here. Welcome, John. Lord Crashington is here. And Lashbrick is here. Hi to you, Lord Crashington. And hello to everybody, of course. And welcome. It's Manga Monday, and we're going to also, backed by no real demand because something came here. As John says, yeah, we're going to, it is Witch from Mercury Monday, because we're going to talk about as Imdron says, I'm here to see what part of the stream is up for interpretation, according to Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco of Japan hedging their fucking bets, apparently, in a way that is just like, nah, no, come on. Are you telling me that two characters in an anime saying the words you wrote, that there's something lost in translation there, maybe? Or people are just interpreting it one way and there's another way to interpret it? I mean, I guess super eye rolly indeed. Just like, come on, don't make the move if you don't want to play the game. We'll get into it in a bit. There's not a lot, but there is a lot, and it's a whole thing, and it's... come on. Come on. Like, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you're doing. They're just roommates. You know, they're just good friends and roommates. Just two gals living together. Two gals living with their mom, or one of their mom. And the robot, quote-unquote, sister of one of them calls one the other sister-in-law, and that's just, they're like the Korean sister-in-law kind of thing, right? Like, there's no direct translation, but when you're translating it in English, often you refer to the ladies in your life who you're not blood relatives in-laws. That's just a common parlance in South Korean that, of course, just ends up in this anime by mistake. We'll get into it. Chris Weed Piano just subscribed at tier 1. That's 12 months, currently on a 6-month streak. Thank you so much, Chris. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat, and thank Chris for the 1 year. That's lovely of you. Thank you, Chris. We are currently at 51 subscribers. So I know that for a while there, the goal was 40, and we always wanted to get to 40. I'm going to try to make the goal 50. When we drop below, when we get down to 49 or, lower, I'm going to try to get back up to 50. I think 50 is the new 40. I came up with that myself. But thank you, Chris. But yeah, that's the goal. Anyway, I guess we'll talk about this. We'll get into this. If you missed it, if you missed the end of Saturday's stream, we'll talk about this for a second before we get more deep into Bandai trying to have their cake and eat it too. So, hey, I'm working on this thing. It's not Lego. It's not Lego. This is a Mould King kit. I bought this on Amazon. This is the AE86 from Initial D. And it's not just an AE6. It is from Initial D because the stickers that it comes with, which you apply all at the end, I've been told, are the stickers for the tofu shop. This is attempting to be, quote unquote, accurate. Trying to be close to the actual television show or anime and manga series Initial D, which is fun. Mould King. Never bought anything from them before. This is fake Lego. This is knockoff Lego. A question was raised in one of the Discords I'm in because I was promoting this, and someone said, like, hey, can you use regular Lego with it? And I haven't checked that. I haven't pulled out some other Lego and tried to add to this. I believe that'll work. But I do have a minifig here, and I am going to put this minifig... Okay, yeah. So I can tell you at least that a minifig, a proper Lego minifig, will sit on these knockoff Lego. Now, the thing I will say the most about these is that I don't know if these are print on demand. I don't know how these are manufactured. They feel so goddamn flimsy. They just there's not a weight that a Lego has. Like, I don't really have a lot of big, like, a lot of these are thin, but this just feels, it just feels flimsy. Like, I could bend this in half if I wanted to. I don't want to, but I could bend this or snap it very easily. It feels like. So, like, when I'm going to take this up, if I want to take this apart, the brick separator will work on it. If I make a mistake, I'm going to have to be careful as I do it. I was going to ask if they go out of their way to make weird shaped pieces. Not really. I mean, like, there's these clear pieces are different than these would usually be 2-prong and they're 3-prong. See that there? Because it's clear, it's kind of hard to say. But these are usually 3-prong or 2-prong and they're 3-prong. So that's a little different. But most of these pieces just look like Lego pieces. They just look what you think of when you think of Lego. That's what these are. Like down to these parts. Like, so much of this just feels like this is just Lego. Like, these things are very Lego on vehicles. They're in there. Like, it's even this. This is actually this is the thing I should have brought up before. So, this piece, which I don't know what it's for on the vehicle. If this was real Lego, this would look like a lightsaber because Lego recycles their lightsabers and uses it in other ways. But the lightsaber base is a common thing because it's the right size for them to for minifigs to hold on to. So this is like, I don't know what this is for on this car, but this would be that, and it's not that. And I was like, I wonder if this is going to look like a lightsaber. They didn't go that far. But all the other parts here, just, this looks like a Lego, this looks like what you'd find in a Lego car. It's very close, if not, it just doesn't feel quite right. There's something wrong with it. Again, I don't think it's going to be like a deal breaker at any point. I do wish this instruction booklet was bigger. I hate this. I hate how small it is, especially because so many pieces are black. They do outline it in red to make it easier to see, but I wish this was bigger because I think that's a real shame and a missed opportunity. But it's not like the end of the world. Now, I did, if you missed Saturday's stream, an important thing to say is that all of these pieces came in bags. They came in little bags, which is great, and they were numbered, which you would think, oh, fantastic. They're stealing the best shit from Lego. Not just their designs, they're also stealing just open bag 1. Okay, now open bag 2. The very first step in this booklet is to open every bag because you cannot build them one at a time. The very first step involved these 6 corner pieces. They were not in bag 1. So you do have to null everything. So the numbered bags are in fact useless for me. They might be helpful for them. I love dumping out all the bags and hunting. That's the OG Lego way. John, we did do that on Saturday. I don't like that because I'm trying to do this and keep up with chat and read my notes for anime or something. You know, I'm trying to do several things, so to be able to easily find the pieces I need is beneficial to me, your friend Pat. But I understand the hunt and pack method certainly has its place. If I did Lego in my free time or knockoff Lego in my free time, I would probably do it more often. Okay, so I need a one, need a ramp piece. I need a ramp, a 1x2 ramp. It's still going to be, I'm still going to have to be hunting because obviously as I build this thing, there will be less parts for me to dive around in, but I only have so much room because I had to knoll all 200 and something pieces, almost 300 pieces on my table, and I still want to use this work surface because it's nice for y'all and for me as well. That I still have to dig around because even if all my black is together, it's still in a clump. So it's not ideal. Okay, we got into this a little bit. We should dive in a little bit more here as I'm trying to get these components together. So what had happened was there is a magazine that the magazine, let's see, Gundam Ace magazine. They do a digital version and they do a print version, right? So in the digital version of Gundam Ace magazine, which is a great fucking name, by the way, they interviewed Kana Inchose, who played Suletta in the Japanese version. So she's the Japanese voice of Suletta. Great. That's who you want in your Gundam-ass Gundam magazine. You definitely want to interview Suletta, the voice of Suletta. And they're chatting about a bunch of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm going to dig and find these tiny pieces that I talk here, but I want to get the actual quotes right. So let me find this piece, and then I don't know how to describe this piece. Okay, so they're like, final scenes, the flash forward where they're together, and she talks about that and how, like, okay, let's see, after 3 years, because the end of this episode, spoilers for the end of season 2 of Witch from Mercury, Mobile Suit Gundam Witch from Mercury. After 3 years, they seem much closer. This is a quote. And to see them married like that really touched my heart, as it did many people. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Comment read, in part, the first explicit confirmation of the character's marriage outside of the show itself. And that's important. This is an article from Gizmodo that is making a salient point, and that salient point that I think is important to recognize is the fact that, yeah, the show definitely shows that they fucking got married. They got matching wedding bands. Suletta's sister calls Mjorne sister-in-law. They're a fucking couple. They got together. It's a happy marriage. But Bandai has never said, like, well, who knows what lays in store in the future for our married couple. Like, they haven't fucking made a press release about how they got together, which they don't have to do because it's fucking text in the story. So I guess I did not know that the portmanteau fund name of Suletta and Mjorne is Solemio, Solemio, Solemio marriage was trending. But hey, guess what? Digital copies of that magazine didn't have that in there anymore. And enough people were like, hey, what the fuck? Why did this cool thing get removed from the digital version? And so eventually Bandai Namco had to put out a statement. And you're like, oh, okay, Pat, this is where they're like, hey, we messed up. We should not have edited this. This was clearly a clerical error, and we understand how important these characters are, and we'd never want to take anything away from the fans, and we're so sorry for this misunderstanding. That's not what they apologized for. they apologized for the reference appearing in the print version. And luckily, they caught it and were able to make sure it wasn't in the digital version. And this was shared on both the Gundam Ace Magazine Twitter account and the Witch from Mercury Twitter account, the official one, causing confusion between digital and print editions. Sorry, let me just... Almost everything I need to do on this kit is hard to see because the instruction book is so small. All right, put those there. Put those there. This goes across. And I could put these other two on while I do this part here. In the article, there was a sentence based on speculation of the Gundam Ace editor, and despite requesting corrections at the time of proofreading, the correction of the relevant part was not reflected, and it was released on July 26th. We would like you to enjoy the work by leaving it up to each and every one of you who had seen the main story. So after consulting with the Gundam Ace editorial department, who apparently have no ability to have a backbone, they just can't fucking say, hey, this is stupid. They just have to go along with it, which sucks. Really sucks. We will make an electronic version that can be modified. This, of course, is a translated statement using machine translated. So this was not done by a human person. So that's why some of it sounds weird. If you were wondering, hey, why does this sound inhuman in some instances? It's because it is. Let's see. The description has been revised as originally requested and is now being distributed. And obviously, this is a Gundam magazine that is at the behest of Bandai, so of course. So, here's the thing. A lot of people see what they want to see when they're watching stories like this, right? There's a lot of subtext as text. And Japan is, especially in the anime industry, often the manga industry even more so. So if you have queer characters in a light novel, they might not be queer in the manga, and they might end up being queer in the anime. There was a pretty recent example about the reincarnated genius and the noble woman. There's a long name, I can't remember. But basically, I read the manga, and people were like, yeah, you got to read the light novel, because that's gay as hell. And then the anime was gay as hell. And you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah. Because, like, these characters are clearly in love with each other, and they downplayed it in the manga because they're afraid. So there's so much text in series. There are so many best friends and characters who never date but end up living together. And there's all this shit, and it's all, like, teasing you. Like, even Do It Yourself. Like, the main characters in Do It Yourself are clearly in love with each other, but they're in love with each other to titillate a presumed male audience, not to encourage a queer audience, specifically a female queer audience, to watch the program. They're there so you can go like, oh, I wonder if these characters are in love with each other. And it sucks. It's queer baiting. It's queer baiting. Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury is not queer baiting. It's queer. Those characters are together. They got married. And an important thing, we've talked about this on stream before, beyond the realities of, hey, so many fucking kits were sold of this. And having a female protagonist brought in people who might not have given Gundam a chance before. And having a lead who is a woman of color, a queer woman of color, probably, and this is reading into subtext, neurodivergent main character. Having her as the lead is an important big deal. As Regizzle says, yes, Miorine's mother-in-law is a war criminal. That's her mother-in-law. And she's got to live with her. You thought your in-law was rough. But here's the thing, right? You take all that away. You push that all aside. The thing, which were all business decisions. This is a creative enterprise with a business decision behind it, of course, right? At the end of the day, it's all fucking business. A queer woman of color had a happy ending. And that means so fucking much to people. And I can't understate that fact. Souletta got a happy ending. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect ending. It's not a storybook ending. But it's a fucking good ending. It's a good ass ending. She got a happy fucking ending. Her queer love story happened. And to pretend, not even to pretend, to presuppose that there is a different interpretation to take is laughable. Who the fuck, because here's the thing, right? That's the statement that Bandai made. That they were clarifying. That they want to use your interpretation. That shit doesn't work for anyone. Because if you are a homophobe, you stopped watching a long time ago. Because you saw the writing on the wall that neither of these girls were going to end up with Bob, right? So, like, you knew they weren't going to end up with a dude. We all knew that. We thought maybe one of them was going to fucking die. But they were going to die in love with the other one. So, if there was a tragic ending, it was just going to be a queer tragic story. Which is, unfortunately, how a lot of queer stories end up. Remember that the only gay people in Black Clover were two Villain of the Weeks who fucking went off to die together. Like, that shit's more common than this shit. So to pretend like it's open for interpretation doesn't work for anyone, because homophobes already got fucking pissed about it. And this article in Gundam Ace isn't going to fucking go, wait, that's how the show ended? Because, like, the robot who thinks that Souletta is her sister is in the ear of a woman calling her sister-in-law. And you're like, well, that's open for interpretation. It's not. It's fucking not open for interpretation, my dudes. And I'm yelling at people who know and agree. SAO has the funniest queer reputation by far. I mean, that's the thing, right? Was it a better ending than the ending from Identity? Trick question. Every ending is better than the one from Identity. I mean, so like, you know, happy ending, sad ending, good ending, earned ending, all those things I would say is up for interpretation, right? That's the thing about art, right? Like, sometimes it isn't cut and dry, and there is communication that could be open for interpretation, and there is discussion that can be had about, like, what is this actually saying? What are they trying to say with this? What do they mean by that? That exists, and I'm not trying to say that everything is cookie cutter and everything is clear and that subtext doesn't reign and that text is final and that there's no room for interpretation, because we end up with ships sailing because things don't go the way we as the audience collectively would like, or a portion of the audience would like, right? If this ended with neither of them, with one of them dead or one of them married to a random dude that wasn't even the show and having a baby, and that's the end of the show, then fanfics would do the rest, right? Because that's what they're there for in certain instances, is to fill in the blanks left. But, like, people were going to make this a queer story if Bandai Namco didn't want to make it one. But they did want to make it one. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't have. And it's just ridiculous. I'm looking at an animated GIF of them waving at each other, and they have matching fucking wedding bands. God damn it. And also, I would encourage you in conversation with people, if it comes up in 2024, when Witcher Mercury is up for Crunchyroll Awards, guess what? Miorine and Soletta will most likely be nominated for Best Couple. And I wonder if Bandai is going to be like, well, I wouldn't put them as a couple. That's open for interpretation. It's just, it's just very frustrating because it's just like, this doesn't do anything. It doesn't even do it doesn't appease anyone because they've already made up their minds. It only hurts new fans that you've had to be like, oh, well, they don't, like, what, why would they do this? Because it's just like weird. It's just a weird thing. But luckily, many of folks out there, myself included, have decided to make up our own minds on what the ending means. And what the ending means is they're gay and married and it's beautiful and cool. And there exists a non-zero chance that a manga written, an official Bandai, produced manga that continues their stories in the future to sell more, so they can sell more model kits with new Gundams, there is a non-zero chance that one of them will be with a dude. Like, that's just how it is. Like, that's just what's up. Or they won't even, like, reference it. And it'll be like, oh, a localization made a mistake. What do you do if Miorine is married to Ghoul in a future manga? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Telltale's response. Yeah, everyone will remember that. Nobody liked that. Yeah, it's just it's a nonsense thing to appease nobody and to placate no one. It's just so weird. It's just so nonsensical. It's just going to create more fan art. And if that's what Bandai Namco wanted, if that was their plan all along, was to increase fan art of the two of them as a married couple, like, go off. Y'all did it. Okay. All right, so I did this wrong. It's got to go like this. The interior, you can tell it's the interior of the car. Exterior is white, interior is brown, which makes sense. So you can kind of judge it, and then some of it is like the floor is black, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Yes, tag all your spicy fan art to Bandai Namco. Yeah, it's just nonsense. I saw that today, and I was just like, what are we fucking talking about? Can you imagine the gymnastics that would have to happen if 4 kids picked up a show with a queer storyline? I typed that, and now I'm wondering if Sailor Moon counts. I mean, so, like, Sailor Moon does count, right? Because they're cousins. They were roommates. Is the Vine parlance for their cousins. It's a similar thing. Yeah, right? Like, it's fun. What manga was? What anime was? Oh, the mangaka for Slow Start. Slow Start is about a girl that, due to an illness, misses a year of school, and she moves to a different town. She finally convinced to go to school, so she goes to a different town, and she's like a year older than everybody else and feels weird, but she meets a bunch of other weirdos, and it's a lovely little slice of life about, like, girls in school, and, like, one of the characters is very gay, very, very gay, but she's, like, young school, like, I'm not exploring my sexuality, but I'm, like, being evocative gay, but one of the other characters lives with her grandma and her grandma. And I remember somebody just being like, oh, that's so nice. Like, after whatever happened to their parents, these two old ladies, like their kids, moved in together. And the mangaka was like, no, they're both her grandma because they're married. So they're grandma and grandma to Tama. And she was like, I can't believe I have to spell this out. No, those are her grandmas. One is grandma by marriage. What are we doing here? Not probably not by marriage, but yeah, it was just like, it's like, duh. Nah, she refers to both of them as grandma. Like, no, that wasn't grandma and grandma's a roommate. Like, what are we talking about here? That's always stuck out to me, that the manga guy would be like, no, dumbasses. What? Anyway, the first story I actually thought we would do tonight, which obviously we didn't get a chance to get to, but we'll talk about it now, because it's hilarious, is hey, remember that X? Y'all know, have you heard this, that Twitter rebranded as X and then put a giant X on the top of their building, which they are behind on rent payments on? And then they were like, and it was like this weird light display, and it made people very unhappy that lived near it. And it's terrible. Yeah, they removed it. Apparently, the city of San Francisco wasn't happy, and then Elon Musk was not happy about the city of San Francisco. Wait, did I fuck this up somewhere? Where do I gotta put this? This goes here. Okay, so this goes across here. Wait. Sorry. Something got confused here on these steps here. This is 2. Okay, so I put that there. This is up too high. This should be down 1. I figured out what I did wrong. Everybody. This is up too high. So can I remove this without fucking everything up? I can pull this up. Can I pull these up? Yes, I can. Great. It was weighted with literal sandbags. It was for sure going to kill someone. Yes. Dirty was the grandmas in one character in Slow Start were not a My Two Dads situation. No. So the X is down. Let's see. The Department of Building Inspections received 24 complaints about unpermitted structure, including concerns about the structural safety and illumination. So not only was it the illumination a problem, but other people were like, hey, this is clearly not safe. And they were correct by all accounts. All right, so that goes up there, and then 1, 2, and so this goes here, I think, right? Yeah, okay, so that goes there. Great, that's right now. And then this goes like this. Great, figuring it out. The Buddy Daddies are just roommates, though. It's in the title. Yeah. I mean, so I would say Buddy Daddies, you could wonder if they got together. That's an ending. There you go, Rajizzle. Great. To jump back to that conversation, which we'll get back to make fun of Elon Musk and his nonsense. To jump back to that conversation, you could make the future where she is a teen and she is raised by her dads. You could, if you wanted to, look at it either way. That as they started living a life together and working together, love blossomed. Or perhaps it didn't. We don't know if they were romantically linked together or not. There was no moment of either of them being with someone. They did not introduce a new character or a character from previous episodes that you could say like, oh, and I guess they got together. That's weird. Or, oh, that's cute because they were flirting in that one episode. One of the moms from the, the daycare or whatever. You could have done something like that. They didn't. They left it up for some amount of interpretation. So 1 by 3, great. So maybe they are just buddy daddies by the end of it. We actually don't know. That's actually up for interpretation. The ending of Witch of Mercury is not up for interpretation. That's just some gay shit. That's just some gay shit. All right. So back to this. 24 complaints, including concerns about sexual safety. Yeah. The sign was installed on the roof. Twitter, X headquarters on Friday, less than a week after the company was stopped from removing the Twitter logo on the side of the building because they didn't tell the fucking building they were going to do that shit. Let's see. Yeah, they didn't have a permit. They were stopping traffic. It's not called Buddy Witches from Mercury. Nope, you're right. It's not. Let's see. Yeah, somehow, apparently Apple, because people were like, hey, I thought Apple said you had to have like at least 3 characters in your name for an app, but apparently they got around it because the app is named X. And I guess, hey, guess what? That sign did go down in a blaze of glory because that's their fucking terrible catchphrase. Their terrible dystopian future catchphrase, blaze your glory. So apparently, the company, when people were like, hey, what the fuck? They were like, oh, we only put it up for an event. It's a temporary sign. We didn't mean this for be up forever. That's their explanation for why it was structurally unsafe. It's because like, oh, that's just a temporary thing. It's just a joke, bro. Which is like, no, come on. Come the fuck on. Come on. But yeah, that they're claiming that it was just a joke. Hey, Harold. We are in the shit on Elon portion, Harold. You're right. I got to drink a little water here. So apologies for a second. I need it. My throat's really dry for some reason. So, John wants me to dance button. I will. I'll hit the dance button. This is the last night for this song before a new song. Here we go. Yeah. I need 6 of these. Okay, 3. What about... Oh, I have 4, 5, and what about 6? Show me 6. Why can't I find the 6th one of these? See, it's still annoying to find things. 2, 4, 5. I need 6 of these. So, but as I build this, it'll be easier to find things because there'll be less of these not Legos on the table for me to shift through. Here it is. It was hiding under another thing. Yeah, no, you can't, Chris Wheat. Chris, you can't do that. I don't know why I said your full name there. Yeah, those lights wouldn't have worked anyway. The building inspector said a planning review and approval is also necessary for installation of this sign. The city is opening a complaint and initiating investigation. And then they also, hey, guess what? You also need a permit to remove the sign. But they were like, due to the concerns about the structural integrity, we're going to forgo your need for a permit. Just get this shit down. Just take this thing down, which is always a good sign. When people are so worried about your thing that they're just like, you should just do this. We don't want to wait on this thing. We'd like this to just not be a problem anymore. We're working on the car interior here. So we'll get that together. And then this. Oh, like that? Did I do this I did this in the wrong place? Yeah, okay. It's supposed to go like that. All right. Again, Photos are small. I'm going to keep saying that because it's true. I'm not fucking up. It's the thing that's weird. No, I am fucking up, but I'm also doing my best to understand where things need to go based on that. So this is going to go in between the four. Yes, that goes there. Great. The property owner will be assessed fees for the unpermitted installation of the illuminated structure, which sucks because the building is going to have to deal with that, which is fun. The fees will be for building permits for the installation and removal of the structure and to cover the cost of the Department of Building Inspection and the Planning Department investigation. And then someone says RIP sign. RIP X sign. That's Gizmodo saying that. But yeah. It's silly and nonsensical, and we can kind of move past it. But I did want to say we should talk about it a little bit here. I don't think tease isn't the right word. I mentioned it in the pre-show that we would chat about it, and we won't get too maudlin about it, but we should talk a little bit about the passing of Paul Reubens. I hope that I am not the person letting you know that Paul Reubens passed away. I hope you saw it on social media or TV or something, or friend text you, something like that. I hope you're not hearing from me. If you are hearing from me, I'm sorry that I'm the one to tell you this on a program where I build things. But yeah, Paul Reubens passed away at the age of 70. He left a legacy. He did a thing that's very difficult to do, that a lot of people have been saying, and I'm not coming up with this, but he made children's programming that kids that kids felt smart for watching, and he did it by parodying, at first, the Pee-wee character and the Pee-wee Herman show, which was a groundling show, was a parody of the actual show that the Pee-wee Herman, the Pee-wee's Playhouse became. Like he did such a good job at parodying it that they just made the thing. Like, that's incredible. That you do such a good job playing with the medium that the people that make the medium are like, well, what if you did that for us? And he just did it. He just did the thing and spread joy to a lot of people. And a plethora of acting roles around it before, during, and after that. When you think of the cast, I mean, obviously, like, a lot of it is Pee-wee's Playhouse. That means a lot to a lot of people. From the acting debut of Natasha Lyonne to Lawrence Fishburne getting to do something fun for a stage actor who did not get many opportunities to be in a fun, silly thing, to the stage version with Phil Hartman, which every scene with Phil Hartman and Paul Reubens is incredible. To Pee-wee's Big Adventure, allowing a weird filmmaker and a weird comedian to make magic together. Unbelievable. It is really sad. So, I did not tweet this. Didn't feel the need to do it. I will say, because part of the grieving process is to make it about you, even if you don't want to. Part of that is making it about you. I met Paul once for like 10 minutes, and it was cool as hell. He was hanging out with a friend of mine, and I went to a bar where people were hanging out, and a friend of mine was at another table, and I looked over, and I saw that friend, and I was about to be like, well, hey, I'm going to make a big noise and be a loud Greer's Pat Baer about this. And then I saw that friend was sitting there, and that was definitely fucking Pee Wee Herman. That's Paul Rubin. Like, that's what? And so I didn't go over there. I sat with my friends, and I didn't say shit about it. But I got out my phone, and I texted my friend, and I said, hey, me and I mentioned a couple other people's names. We just walked in, and I know you're over there. Text me if I can come over and say hi, or we can come over and say hi, or whatever. Let me know if we can come over and say hi to you, because we won't if you don't want us to. And like, we go about our dinner, we're having a good time, and we're kind of chatting, and one of my friends is like, dude, text him again, text him again. I'm like, I'm not going to text him again. If he doesn't check his phone, it's fine. And I get a text from my buddy, and my friend has never told this story, so it's not my place to tell every detail of it, because I don't know. If they tell about it, if I see it on social media, I'll tell you who it was. But anyway, my friend goes, okay, like a couple people come over, but don't make it a big deal. And so me and one of my friends who was and is a bigger Pee Wee Herman fan than even I was, we go over, and we're like, hey, nice to see you, and then my friend goes, this is Paul. We're thinking of working on something together. And my friend says hi, and I lean over to say hello, and I say, oh, nice to meet you. And I put my hand on the shoulder of my friend that Paul Rubens is having dinner with, and I go, isn't he just the best? And I make it about my friend. And Paul Rubens says something nice about my buddy and how they worked on something together and how they're excited to work on something else. And we just chat about that for a couple minutes. And then we go, all right, we got to pay our bill. And it's so nice to meet you, and have a great rest of your night. And we go back, and neither of us had him sign anything or freak out. And that's because I worked in comedy for so long and theater with so many wonderful, weird people, that you just don't do that stuff in a restaurant. You don't call attention to anything. And it was lovely, and it was a nice little chat. And he was just such a special man for so many people. If you are not familiar, there's links going around to some stuff. Maybe you just know him as the Prince from 30 Rock. Maybe you know from some film roles that he did, or as a voice in Nightmare Before Christmas, or whatever. You might not know him from anything other than Pee Wee Herman and pop culture. I think that HBO special that you can find on YouTube. It's on HBO still, but you can find it on YouTube. I think that special is incredible. The Pee Wee Herman Show is fantastic. It is imaginative. It is fun. It is weird. It's dated in ways that media is dated. The fact that there are prank phone calls on that show, but they're prank video calls. They're written in the script. They're not real pranks, but they're written in the script. But there's prank calls in that. Harold liked him on the You Don't Know Jack TV show. Yeah, I mean, Paul Rubens was in a bunch of stuff. The shadow of Pee Wee Herman looms large for a generation of comedy people. Any children's programming show that you think is cool, that you thought was cool when you watched it, is because of Pee Wee. Is because of Paul. It's because of Paul Rubens that thing was cool. Yo Gabba Gabba doesn't happen without Paul Rubens, because you don't get to make something fun and cool that kids and parents both like without Paul Rubens being there, being that role. Hey, Before Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Paul Rubens was showing on Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse, weird little old cartoons. The king of cartoons would come out and show you an old short, and they had stuff that they, had made, but they also had some weird stuff way before Space Ghost did it. Just using old cartoons in a fun way. It's a loss. I had friends of mine who were close with him, as I mentioned, one of my friends and a few other people. But yeah, if you don't have a personal connection to Pee Wee Herman, the thing that I will say to you is, somebody you loved him. Somebody you think is really funny or talented that maybe is my age or older, bit older, loved him and was influenced by him. And so if you're younger and it just didn't hit you, or, hey, I know this. I know some people who just they're around my age. They didn't have Pee Wee's Playhouse because they didn't watch a lot of TV, or they were in a country that didn't, broadcast it, that didn't have a licensing deal for it. And it's not necessarily a connection to him, but it can't be understated how important he is for a lot of really smart and funny nonsense, and how good an actor he was. He was just a very talented actor. A lot of times people get pigeonholed into roles, and he's more than Pee Wee Herman. And I know that it's very clear from interviews that there was a time where he wanted to be anyone but Pee Wee Herman. But he came around on it. Man, there was a chance he almost hosted SNL when the Pee Wee Herman show came back as a Broadway run, a very limited engagement Broadway run, and he was in New York for it. There was an opportunity for him to host SNL, and he didn't. It didn't end up working out. But there was conversation of him hosting, either as Paul Rubens or as Pee Wee Herman. They hadn't really decided yet. Both were on the table. And I joked about this. So I worked on the weekends. I worked consistently on the weekends for a number of years. Towards the end of my time working at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, I stopped working on the weekends, but for a long time, I worked there. When my buddy Bobby was on SNL, Bobby Moorhan's on SNL, I never asked for tickets. People asked all the time, or writer's room, because sometimes you could go and sit with the writers in the room. You didn't have to be in the audience. I never asked. Rehearsals, none of that. When word got out, when the rumors were there that Pee Wee Herman, or Paul Rubens, was going to host SNL, I texted Bobby and I was like, hey, I've never asked for you for anything, but if Pee Wee hosts SNL, I would like to be in the writer's room for that. I would like to be in the writer's room for the live show or rehearsal or whatever. And Bobby was like, okay, you're calling it in? I was like, I'm calling it in. If that's what I need to do, that's what I'll do. Of course, he didn't end up hosting. I never saw SNL. It's a weird thing to say. I was in New York for so long. But like I said, I worked on weekends. I went to many SNL after party and one after party. But I never actually saw the program. We've talked about this on the stream. I teched an episode of SNL during the writer's strike, the last writer's strike. They did a show as a fundraiser where the tickets were very expensive. They did a live, it was almost all the SNL cast. There was one person not there. It was almost everyone. And then Horatio did something and Rachel Dratch came back and did something. And Daryl Hammond came in and did all the intros. He did his impression and did that voice. This was when Don Pardo was still alive, but was living in Arizona and flew in. Don Pardo flew in every Saturday and stayed overnight and flew back to Arizona every Sunday. Nonsense. But he did Don Pardo because Don Pardo wasn't going to fly out. Wife and I were going to New York this weekend and also not seeing SNL. I mean, you're not seeing SNL because it's the strike, but also, yeah, you might not just want to see it. Ironhide the Fourth is here saying, I know of this upcoming band named 1023MB, but they haven't been to a gig yet. Hi-oh. I don't have the toilet flush sound effect anymore, but hi-oh. But yeah, I've teched an episode of SNL for charity fundraiser SNL episode. I'm the only person who is not an NBC employee to ever do lights and sound for an episode of SNL. It's a very strange, specific claim to fame. I'm sure they might do another one of those. Now that UCB is kind of back in business, I could see them wanting to recapture that magic. But I won't be there. Anyway, Paul Rubens was a really special guy, and it's a real shame. So if you have the means and you are interested and you would like to honor him, his final wish was that folks could make donations to Stand Up to Cancer or any charity that is involved in dementia or Alzheimer's research in the name of his parents, Judy and Milton Rubenfeld. So if you would like to, you know that the Cure Alzheimer's Fund is a charity that I have done events in order to support. So that might be a place to go. I am not currently in a position to make a donation, but when I can, I will in those people's names. But yeah, but that is his final wish. Also, if you go to one of the Galaxy Edge parks, you can hear his voice as the Star Tours pilot, RX-24. He's in Oga's Cantina. That's really nice. I'll have a little water. Thank you, Nathan. I'm also going to drink some water after the pause of the cause, but I'll drink a little water. Thank you for using channel points. But yeah. I would say don't watch Mystery Men because that's not a good way to honor Pee Wee Herman because that's not a good movie. He's in it, but it's not a good movie. So I would say Mystery Men, not the way to honor the life and times of Pee Wee Herman or Paul Rubens. But you could watch the clips from 30 Rock or, like I said, I mean, it's the HBO special. It's the Pee Wee Herman show. It's that original piece of comedy. I don't particularly think that Mystery Men is a good movie. I think that some of that cast is working very hard and some of that cast is having a fun time in a bad movie. But I don't think that Mystery Men is good. I'm glad that you like it, John. I don't. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we did have to get a little sad there, talk about that bit of business. But the hope is that, I don't know, I hope that a lot of people are just thinking about him this weekend. I know I will. Or this week, I should say. Weekend. It's Monday. I meant to say weekend. I said weekend. I hope people were thinking about him this week. I know I will be. Let's see. We're going to take a pause for the cause. I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support the channel. Everything I'm going to talk to you about is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. But if you would like to, you're more than welcome to. It's called the pause for the cause. First and foremost, if you're a subscriber, go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through cash money, through $5 a month, or like Chris did earlier in the night, or if you've got that Prime Gaming sub, if you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that sub, you can use it. It's free, and you can use it for anybody. And if you used it for me, well, I think that would be neat. Subscribing is the best way to support what I do because you're already here on Twitch. You get cool emotes. You don't see ads. You don't see pre-roll stuff or ads during it, which is nice for everybody. And I would say, most importantly, the number go up. It's nice when the number go up. So, yeah. You could also gift a sub to somebody in the community. If you want to join Bobby Dice Roller and Shot Point and Aristofan and the gift sub leaderboard, you could do that. You could also just wait till tomorrow's stream so that you become the top of the leaderboard for tomorrow. But you could if you wanted to. Bits and coins always appreciated if you want to join that leaderboard as well. If you wanted to, you could instead join my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. And if you're like, Pat, it's the end of the month. That's a waste of that money for the month. No, it's rolling subscriptions. So if you do it today on the last day of the month, you won't get charged until the last day of next month. So consider that. It's never a bad time to jump in on the old Patreon. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider jumping in on the Patreon. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer. You can pop over there if you wanted to the old YouTube. That's a place you could go if you want to do that. You can subscribe there for free, obviously. I post video content pretty consistently. And so you can jump over there if you'd like to. And you could also become a member if you wanted to. For just $2 a month, you become a member on YouTube. And then you get my Wednesday videos a day early because I am required to offer something. And that's what I offer. But yeah, that's another way to support. And there's also one-time donations because maybe you want to help me out, but you don't want to help me out on a monthly basis, just like as a treat. Totally understand that. Totally okay. But there is there is PayPal and Stream Elements and also my coffee. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. I buy model kits and equipment with that. And we talked about gifting subs, and John has gifted some subs. So let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat, and let's welcome into the fold Ironhide the Fourth, Rusty Shackelford, Lixa 432, Old Type 85, and Uncle Watermelons. Uncle Watermelons. That's a good username. Welcome aboard, Uncle Watermelons. That's very fun. Yeah, let's throw some notes in chat. Thank you very much, John. That is, you've now gifted 14 subscriptions in total. And that's very kind of you. Thank you, John, for jumping to the top of that leaderboard at the end, boosting me past well above 50 subscribers, which is nice. And as I said, those are all ways to financially support me. Now, I have a backlog of things. I've got other things to build when this thing is done. I got other things I could build. But I won't be... But there's a way. There's a way to hack the system. If you're like, no, Pat, don't build those other things in your backlog. Build the thing I want you to build. Well, you go to my Amazon wish list, and you could buy something on my wish list, and then I will be forced to build that thing next. Something has happened with Amazon wish list, and then I can no longer move. I can no longer reorder my list, and I have no idea why. So in the future, I'm going to have to just do it differently. But anyway, I've got model kits in there, inexpensive kits, expensive kits. I got Lego sets, inexpensive Lego sets, very pricey Lego sets, stuff that's on sale, stuff that's nice, not on sale, stuff that never seems to drop in price, stuff that seems to always fucking drop in price, which is lovely. I guess I'll just sort by low to high. And we'll just have to do it like that. And unfortunately, that means that gear, because there's usually gear on the bottom, that means the gear is now going to get mixed in. Like I just put in, hey, I just put a new thing on my wish list, right? I've got some kits that are new, but I put a controller on my wish list. Put a controller on my wish list. Can you believe it? Pat Baer. Because my current knockoff Xbox controller is all fucked up and I can't use it anymore. I cleaned it. I sprayed stuff in there. I sprayed air. I sprayed some cleaner. It is not working. The drift is unbelievable and now buttons stick and it's not fun. So I put in a third party licensed by Xbox, so it works on PC as well, controller, because I like the Xbox controller because I've used a variation since the 360. That has been my primary controller. So I put that on the wish list. If you want me to have a better time on my Tuesday streams, you get that. I also put a very expensive, the Blue Eyes White Dragon model kit is very expensive. I don't expect anyone to buy that, but I put that on the list because I thought that would be good. But yeah, probably Elon's flaw. Yeah, you can just blame Elon Musk for that being weird. But anyway, my Amazon wish list right now, I can't move things around on the list, so I'm not going to sort. And it'll be, equipment will be jumbled in together with kits. But that's just what's happening. My alternative to Amazon, as far as a wish list goes, is my Throne wish list. You could jump in around Throne, see if there's something there that strikes your fancy. And then also, the most complicated way is to go to USA Gundam Store. Buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. They will send it to your email. You get that email. You get that code. You copy and then you paste it into a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter, and then you send me that code. That's the most complicated way to support me, is via gift card. I have a Discord. You can join my Discord. We're going to get back to building in just a second, talk about some manga and some anime. Sorry. Couple video links. Hey, I put up a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club today. A brand new episode. When you think of Dragon Ball, if you're me, you think of VHS tapes of fan sub episodes of Dragon Ball where you sometimes still get Japanese commercials because it was taped off of television originally. You might also think of the Funimation attempt, the fun dub of it, or the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball. You might not think about the Harmony Gold dub. That's right, the people that fucked up Macross tried to bring it over here, and I talk about the lost dub, the quote-unquote lost dub, or the zero dub, because they went at it with a hatchet to try to make it into something they thought would be good. And I talk about it in the video, and I even, in the video, in the show description of that video, tell you where you can go and watch a restored version of it, because people are bonkers. So if you want to hear about this failed attempt to bring Dragon Ball to the United States in 1989, watch that video. It required research, so I hope you will watch it, because I don't want to do research and take notes and read my notes for Pat Baer's Anime Club. But this one I have been putting off, and it was time to make it. Also, Baerly Rehearsed. I write a comedy piece, I rehearse it a bunch, I hit record, and then I send it out to everybody. This one is a short one. It is my take on a TikTok and Instagram Reels trend about starting your day, getting ready for the day with someone, and they take you out behind the scenes, and there's fun music. It's my take on that. It's short, and I think pretty funny, so you can watch that, please. All right, we're going to talk about some manga and then some anime. But first, I need to drink some water. So I am going to do that. I'm going to drink a little bit of water, and I'm going to take a pill. And maybe you should do the same if that's time. Drink some water, take a stretch. And I'm going to dramatically transition back to the overhead right now. All right, let's talk about a piece of manga that I want to chat with you about. Let's talk about an isekai. It's called The Forsaken Saintess and Her Foodie Road Trip in Another World. It's a mouthful. Is it based on a light novel? You bet it is. Is it a slow life isekai about a young lady who gets summoned and then things get fucked up? Yes. So, multiple people get brought over in a summons. And one of them is a beautiful young lady. And she's like probably right out of high school. And the other is a little older, a little wiser, but still cute. Not gorgeous, but cute. And they look at her ability and they're like, ugh, what a dud. And they transport her away. Hey, they don't kill her. But they don't send her back. They just abandon her. Because her ability doesn't make any sense. What's survival even mean? What everyone can survive? What kind of Saintess doesn't even have like healing abilities or large scale magic? What is this stupid thing this lady has? Well, because it's a oh, wait a minute. Sorry, folks. Before I keep talking about this, it just occurred to me what I just built here. Fans of Initial D might recognize that this is supposed to be tofu. This is the tofu that is being transported in the back of the AE86. As much as I don't think this quality is particularly high, that's a lovely touch. To put in the back a box of white squares, that's pretty all right. So thumbs up to Mould King for that. That ain't bad. I'll give him the credit for that. This is pretty neat. So anyway, our girl has here's the thing. When she was summoned, they were inside. So her full abilities were not on display. If they had walked outside, they would have been able to see that she has an unbelievably, completely radical, cool ability that is a cheat. Our main character... Hey, stop me if you've heard this before. Our main character in this isekai has an unbelievable ability. And that is survival is actually the ability to summon an RV. Because she used to love... Because in the other world, while she was working her day job and doing all kinds of stuff and working at pharmaceuticals and all that, she dreamed of one day going on a cozy road trip in an RV. And also, it would work inside a dungeon. Dungeons are considered outside. So they just, in a very dumb manner, I should say, because of course they're foolish and they don't know what's going on. They just kicked out someone who could transport people safely. It's invisible, and only people she wants can see it and interact with it, or even enter it. And it has a never-ending supply of food in the refrigerator and water in the sink. And you could transport items in it. Lots of items. Like, she would single-handedly change the course of the battlefield without having to just driving from place to place with supplies. Invisible. Undetectable. And she's just like kind of learning about her abilities as it goes because she opens the manual and she's like, well, I guess I'll do something. And also a thing that should be mentioned that is explained in the manga, which is lovely. Do we get this explanation? Part of her survival skill is that she's calm in the face of adversity. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm not freaked out right now. I probably should be freaked out right now, but I'm not. So she's like pretty well adjusted. And then, just as she's like, okay, I guess this is my life and this is what I'm going to be doing with my life, she meets a demon. She meets an Oni. And he's hurt and hungry. And so she feeds him and looks after him. And it turns out, this dude's a nice guy. Don't judge a book by its cover. this dude, this, humanoid that's clearly not exactly a human, turns out to be a good dude and is completely flummoxed by her cooking ability and the wonderful food that she created. And the skills that she possesses and her ability, and he's like, what's going on? And okay, and he's like, hey, I know this is sudden. Do you want to work for my party as our porter and cook? And we find out after many episodes of this being pretty chill and them just being kind of hanging out, nobody in the party can cook. They're all very nice, lovely people. And even when, because it takes a while before they learn about like her special ability, just the fact that she can cook nutritious and good meals, immediately she gets hired. They're like, oh, this is so great. This is so, yeah, exactly. We're so happy to have you on board. The two of them are a married couple, and then there's another two people, and like everybody's on board. Everybody's really into it. And then, like, there's some issues that come up, and she has to spring into action. She's like, okay, well, I have to tell you about my ability, my skills now. And they're like, this is even more amazing. And she's still interested in helping people, even if she is nervous that, she's a little bit nervous that like the people that summoned her might want her back because she doesn't really want to go do that. And she's also just, kind of nervous about this world and what's going on in it. So while I do think that there's going to be some cool action, and we're just leading to the part where like, it's weird that there are monsters in an area there shouldn't be monsters and that kind of thing. It's lovely. I highly recommend the Forsaken Saintess and her Foodie road trip in another world. I think it's a lovely series. Again, I imagine that it won't always be as cute as it is currently, and that it could get a little weird eventually. But right now, it is very cute and fun, and I like Rin, the main character, and I like all of the supporting cast that we've been introduced to. And yeah, her ability is fun and pretty chill, and I can foresee more fun adventures in it. And her biggest worry was when they went and drove to go help some people very quickly. Nobody wore their seatbelts, and so she's got to teach these other world folks to, how to properly wear the seatbelt when she's driving. It's pretty damn good. I recommend it. Now we should talk about some anime. Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead and Sweet Reincarnation. So, Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead is a show that I was interested in from the premise, and the first episode fucking blew me away. And the second and the third episode I liked, but I didn't love. I thought there were some interesting things going on there. Okay, why isn't this one a fit right? So sorry. Hold on. I got to put these seats on, but it doesn't want to work like it should. So these the wrong one. Oh, okay. All right, we'll talk about the real thing here for a second. These are different pieces. These are different. This and this are different. I'll zoom in. Let's see it here. So this and this are different pieces. And you can only really tell if I go like that. If I go like that, you can see this one's indented a little bit and has a little piece that pokes out, and the other one doesn't. I need this one, not this one. Now, if I was removing things bag at a time, like you should in a Lego set, these would be nowhere near each other, so you wouldn't get confused. But because this is Mould King, we do get confused. So I got confused there. Because when these go in, they should be flush enough that you can then put the seats up. And you can. Hooray! We did it. Now there are seats. So that was annoying. Anyway, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. We got episode 4. I didn't really love the second and third episode. I really got into this one. If you haven't been watching this series, it is about a guy named Akira who was just in a dead-end job. He was in a black company. He was very unhappy. He was contemplating suicide because he was so busy he didn't even have time to try to look for a different job. He would have had to quit, and he didn't have the money to quit to then look for further work, and he was just kind of in desperation. And then he was saved by the apocalypse. The zombie apocalypse is here. So hooray, he no longer has to worry about going to work because everything's fucked. In the third episode, he is reunited with his childhood friend, who he did not keep in touch with that much because of his work. Kenjo. Akira has a bucket list of things he'd like to do that he never got a chance to do, things he'd like to do before he passes away because life is fleeting. There were characters in the first episode that, by the second episode, were dead. The third episode introduced some characters who are probably gone. There was a cool girl in the second episode that we haven't seen again. I hope we see her again. She seemed cool. But anyway, so these two dudes are together, and one of the things on Akira's bucket list is to get a date, because he's never been on a date. The girl he had a crush on work is dead, and so he's never been on a date. That's on his bucket list. And then Kencho starts putting things on that list, and Akira's like, just make your own list. But he's like, no, we're going to do your stuff, and we're going to hang out together because you saved my life. So they're in it for a while. So Akira's like, hey, you know one thing that was always that's on my bucket list, the thing that I would like is I would love like a big widescreen TV. Let's do some shopping and go get a big screen TV. So they go. There's a long, very good chase where they run into a zombie who apparently in his previous life was a truck driver. So they are dodging and escaping from a truck driven by a zombie. And that was pretty fucking unique. And I would say pretty good. That was a good bit of business, was them escaping from this predicament they found themselves in. So they managed to do that. They end up in a mall. They bump into some survivors. There's a group of survivors, some men and some women. And so in a thing that, like, in my opinion, sucks, but Akira, for the most part, has been a character that hasn't really sucked a lot. Anyway, they're like, hey, there are ladies here. Maybe you can check off your bucket list. Let's chat up these ladies. And it's like, come on. The girls are Reika, Maki, and Yukari. And they're kind of chatting with them. They're all flight attendants, which is fun. And so Akira is like, I know how to break the ice. And he ends up snorting some tequila, which causes everyone to laugh and does break the ice. And everyone's just like, ha ha ha, look at this dumbass. Ha ha ha. And it works. It works really well for Kencho, because Kencho and Maki almost immediately break off to go have sex. Because apparently they don't know anything about zombie fiction or horror in general, but they're going to go do it. And then Akira leaves the group to go to the bathroom to throw up because his body did not enjoy the tequila that way. And then, let's see. Yukari goes with Akira. And then there's another guy there. So Reika, the third girl, the third woman, the odd woman out. She's just like, complaining. And then that guy is a zombie, and she gets murdered. Just, hey, here's the character we just introduced. She has not been in this that long. She is no longer a character to worry about. Let's see. They hear her screaming, and they run to see what's going on, so they don't get to have sex. Yukari confirms she's checking on our boy, and she's just like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. He's out there somewhere. I just don't know. I just have to believe that he's alive out there. Which, Akira is kind of bummed because he thought he was going to, like, flirt with her. And, she came to check on him. So he thought, like, oh, maybe something's going to happen here. But, I was like, well, she is nice. So that is nice. So Maki and Kensho come back to where the girls were originally to see what's going on. Maki gets attacked by Reika, who, she was attacked. So now she's a zombie and gets attacked. And Kensho has to fucking flee. Or Maki dies. Kensho kills Reika with her own suitcase. And then Yukari is confessing, like, how, like, I'll never be a flight attendant again, but I complained about a lot of it, but at the end of the day, I still enjoyed being it. And we have this whole thing where Akira realizes, like, I never actually wanted to get into production. That was a job he had. I never wanted to do that. I don't even remember what my dream was. Like, he can't remember what his, the dream job. Like, did he even have one? He kind of can't remember it. All right, so we need these. We need these. And we need these. Great. This is coming together. I wouldn't describe this as coming together easy, but it is coming together. That zombie that killed Reika and started this chain of events, he breaks in and immediately jumps on Yukari, and then Akira pushes him off and then realizes, fuck. She's already been infected, and she's just like, you should leave me here. Just leave me here. You should run away. And now that I think about it, I guess I did love my job, which is a weird fucking thing to say, but that's what happens. It's basically what she says. Akira is fleeing, runs into Kensho, and guess what? Kensho's got an 8K widescreen TV, because that's the reason they came to this fucking mall in the first place. And so they're like, let's get out of here and let's go back to our hideout, the rooftop hideout. And then Akira adds a new bucket list item. He wants to remember what his childhood dream was, because he can't remember it. And this was more action. Obviously, it's sad. We meet these ladies. They come and go. Everything went fucking bad. Somehow, Akira's like dumb luck persists, and he continues to get out of scrapes and not run into any problems. And it's very strange that he just has that kind of weird plot armor, but he does, where he is just going to be fine. I'm going to put the roof on this here. Let's see. How does that work? Oh, okay. So this goes like this, and then slants down. So that's how they solve how do we have angles like that, is these will bend, and so this just goes down, and then whoops, I said it like that, and then I fucked it up. These go down. Not perfect system, but these go in here, and then this goes down like that. All right, great. There we go. So that's how we do the back roof here. And it could raise up, but it's not meant to do that. That's not bad. I think we're definitely going to finish this. Not tonight, obviously, not tonight. But I think on Thursday we might finish this up. Maybe Friday. I don't know. I say as I still have more to do. We're on step 42, and there is still... Oh, yeah, there's more steps here. Because, of course, we got to... At the very least, got to put stickers on. So I'll probably put a poll out tomorrow or Wednesday about what I should build next. But I don't know, like... I I don't know when that's going to be. Might not be till Saturday that I start something new. So yeah, that was a pretty good episode of Zom 100. Sweet Reincarnation, I have left to say, because Sweet Reincarnation was a lot of people conversing with one another. A game that I have been playing with this is, if you don't know Sweet Reincarnation, it is a series, is an isekai. A dude who was a pastry chef dies and is reincarnated in a fantasy world. And he's like, great, I can pick up where I left off and I can revolutionize sweets in this country. But he is the son of a lord and he's going to inherit the lands. And there are just constantly shenanigans stopping him from doing what he wants to do. And so, Harold, tomorrow night we will be playing the collection of mini games that is called, yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. Once again, that's called, yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. It is a collection of mini games. Someone made a collection of games that are the games you see in those ads. The one by the Katamari devs. Yes. It is, if you've ever seen those ads where they're like, hey, save the princess by sliding this thing. And you slide this thing and you can do it. And those kind of games. And then if you get that game, if you find that game on the App Store, it's not the game in the ad. It's some other game. They made the games in the ads as a mini game collection. And it's like $10. I got it on Steam. I think it's on consoles as well. Jeff Gersman looked at it last week. It is my level of complete and utter nonsense that I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get this. And we're going to be playing that tomorrow. We'll start the month off right. I think there's 5 Tuesdays in the month. So if I'm right correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 Tuesdays in the month. So, I was like, oh, I'll try something new and different. That's tomorrow. I'll play it a little bit before the stream starts, but I haven't really checked it out yet. But anyway, back to Sweet Reincarnation. So I'm going to, saw Jeff play that, kind of interested, but the sound design is so annoying. Yes, I mean, we'll turn the sound down low, but also yes. So, Sweet Reincarnation. I'm going to be keeping a tally now from every episode. I didn't previously, but now every episode of Sweet Reincarnation, I will let you know if our main character Pastry baked anything or not, because that's all he wants to do. But I think he's only baked in 2 episodes so far. All right, so there's a big banquet. Our boy is invited. Pastry and his father Casserole are invited by Lord Cadilkek, who is the leader of the army. And they meet his grandson named Squall. They meet Squall, and they're like, okay, cool. And so Pastry has been showing his method. He's had this idea, because they're going to need to have people come to see his sister. But they don't want to have to pay for a bunch of lords and such to travel there, because they want to save money. So his idea was, okay, well, I can have these portraits made with my magic. I can make photos that look like the person, and then you can shop the photos around and just booklets of that. So he's showing off the technology to Squall, and Squall sees this photo of the woman from the previous episode, Lady Petra, and he's just like, she's searching for a husband, and he's just like, instantly just like, hell yeah, look at this lady, gee, wow, all right. Immediately falls in love with her. And Cadilkek is mad because he thinks that Pastry, again, this is going to get deep into weird politics nonsense. He thinks that Pastry has set up his grandson and manipulated him because the Petra's family is constantly feuding with the neighborhood duchy, and he's just trying to play off something. And he's like, no, look, no, you don't understand. He's trying to marry Petra off, like, the Mangrave or the Margrave of the family is trying to use Petra politically, and you can use that to your advantage because he's trying to get somebody as an ally, but it would be bad. Like his allies would be mad if the two of you got together. And he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I got you. He understands the political move, and he's like, okay, well, we're gonna set up an appointment so these two folks can meet. And by doing that, he brings the feud that's happening to the attention of the king, which was what Pastry wanted. So that way, people are aware of it. It kind of blows up in people's faces, and then finds out, oh, Squall and Petra are now secretly engaged. They hit it off. This is happening. So, which is great, except some people's Petra's the enemy of Petra's family is like, the enemies are mad about this. They don't want this to happen. They don't want this to go. So Casserole gets hired because his army, his army is so strong. They defeated all those bandits. It was really his son, Pastry. Okay, I need you to escort Petra to the capital for a coming age ceremony. And also, the church might leak information about this engagement, and we don't want people to know about it. And again, this is all weird political leanings and a strange thing for this reincarnation story, but that's what we're getting in. We're getting into some of this nonsense. Pastry has the idea of hiding Petra in the church so that people can't find her, and also so assassins won't be able to get at her, and then people won't be able to pay attention to it. And on the way, the carriage is attacked by assassins, and then Pastry defends Petra, and also Petra's sister Licorice is on the ride with them to go to the capital. And of course, Pastry can copy magic. That is his ability. He can copy magic that he's seen. So he's able to defend them using copied magic. And Licorice develops a little bit of an interest in Pastry. And the note I placed here was, no cooking takes place. And that's the thing, right? Like, it's Sweet Reincarnation. This is not a slow life isekai about a pastry chef who is, in his second life, had the opportunity to finally make all of the cool pastries that he wanted to make and do all that. No, this is a fairly boilerplate isekai about a dude that has cool cheat abilities like any good isekai main character. It's just that his cool abilities, he also, in addition to those cool abilities, occasionally gets the opportunity to bake a cake. All right, so this goes like, that looks like, Sorry, I have to figure out how these are supposed to look. So this is, this goes on top of it? Wait, what? When this is done, sorry, everybody. This is very confusing how this looks. So we put this on this, right? We know that. That's what it says in instructions. And then this goes on this. And then this goes... This turns. And then this goes here. Huh. While I'm trying to figure this out, I'd love to hear from you, friends. What are you watching? What are you playing right now? What's got you going? What are you excited about out there on the old the world area? Watching any movies? You seeing any TV? You playing some video games? You excited about upcoming releases? You're playing Baldur's Gate 3, which I believe came out today. Let me know what you're into. What's got you going? For me, I had a breakthrough, and I finally figured out how to complete a very difficult job in Mars First Logistics. If you've been playing Mars First Logistics, you know that you have to transport items, you have to build equipment to and rovers to move items, and one of those items I fucking couldn't figure out, and I finally figured out how to make a weird device that allowed me to lift this like fucking fin of a plane, like I think it's like a rocket fin, and I finally figured out how to get a clamp on there to move it. There's a couple items I just can't figure out. And I'm like, do I not have the proper tools for this? There's a box of apples. And I think my new device might be able to lift that box of apples in a way that I need, which is I need to lift an item up and not have apples tumble out of it. Because this one thing, I have to jump. I have to like race up and jump over a thing. And I'm like, I've never built anything that won't knock the apples out. But I think this new thing that I did, this new machine, I believe, I'm fairly confident that this new machine will actually do what I need it to do and maneuver these items. And it's great because I was stuck. I was just doing side jobs because I couldn't get any of the 3 main jobs done. And now I think I got one of the 3 done, and now I think I can get one of the other ones done too. And I'm very excited about that. Also, I've been playing that on mouse and keyboard because my controller is all fucked up. And it would be better on a controller, I think. Driving around would be better on a controller. Building is better on a controller. I found that to be the case. Let's see what y'all had to say. Laura Crafton says, I saw Barbie today, which was a lot of fun. Nice. I don't feel like going to the movies, but at some point, I will see that movie. I know I will at some point. I just don't feel like going to the movie theater. And Harold has been playing a lot of Rock Band 4 lately. Hell yeah, I hope you have been having fun with Rock Band 4. Hope that's going well for you. Okay, so this is not right. So I did something wrong here. So maybe it's supposed to be like this. Okay, so this is supposed to be like this. Nope. If I look at that, that's not right either. Okay, so I did. So this is supposed to be this is definitely supposed to be lined up here, but these need to be lined up there, which means is it supposed to be like that? Okay, it's supposed to be like that. And then nope, that's even worse. That's even more way off. So that's not right either. God damn it. I would say some of these instructions leave a lot to be desired. Basically, this I know needs to go like this. So that means these components here need to be in some way like, but this piece needs to go here. This needs to lock in here. So I don't know how else it's supposed to work other than it's not supposed to be like that. But also these 4 pins need to be like that. So is it like this? No, that doesn't work either. Okay. So it goes like that. If it went like that, oops. Go like. Is this how this is supposed to go? As I said, sometimes these instructions leave something to be desired. So I am doing my best trying to understand what this wants from me. That's not right either. I know that these are supposed to go in like this. Because that is how... These are the car doors, right? And then this piece, this white piece here, is supposed to stick in to this front there. And so this is supposed to go like this. But that doesn't work like that. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm going to take this back here. Lashbrook says, I saw the new Mission Impossible and Barbie yesterday. Barbie is indeed really good. Wasn't as much a fan of the Mission Impossible. I can't tell you the last Mission Impossible movie that I saw. I know I have seen several of them. I don't know if I saw the last one. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the drawing board on this and try to figure this out here. I'm going to take these apart and kind of look at what they want. So But yeah, I don't know the last time I saw a Mission Impossible movie. Okay, so this is supposed to go... Oh, is this supposed to go like this? That's supposed to go there. And then that's supposed to go like that. Okay. Okay, that seems right. And then this goes like... All right, that was very confusing. So, you can see here, this is this piece here, and then below that is that. And there's an arrow. The arrow is that this piece right here is supposed to attach to this part, but it looks like it's supposed to go here, but it's not. It's supposed to go like this, and then this is supposed to go on top of that, and then you turn it, and it goes like this, and then this goes there, and then this locks in like that. Oops. And pushes it away, which we didn't want. But we'll figure it out. Got to be careful with these as well. You can't put too much pressure on this because it's not Lego. All right, and then this goes the same way. And okay, great. That was very confusing, and then it worked. I think I only saw the first Mission Impossible movie. It was not good. They're good. And they get more and more ridiculous as they go on. Yes, like I said, I've enjoyed some of the Mission Impossible movies. I haven't seen all of them. I've enjoyed what I've watched. I think they were fine. I think the second one is probably my favorite. I think the second one was cool, if I remember correctly. Nathan says, hey, Pat, plan on doing anything for the new Hearthstone expansion? I'm going to play it, and we'll be talking about it on Thursday. I have no plans to stream Hearthstone. I did when I did in January, I believe is the last time I did it, and I think Hearthstone is kind of just a thing I'll talk about, but it's not a game I'm going to stream much anymore at this point. So no plans to stream anything from it, but I will talk about it, and maybe on Twitter I will share a link to a deck if I'm building one. I'm going to be looking for new death rattles to put in my Rogue Death Rattle wild deck, and probably see if there's anything new that I want to add to my mana cheat, my big shaman deck. I don't know if Titans work, if you have to battle cry, play a Titan, or if you can summon a Titan to the board and they work. So I'm going to experiment with that. Because if so, the Shaman Titan would be pretty cool to summon to the board. Straw Hat NPC says, I've been catching up on the One Piece anime because there's something coming up I really want to see animated. Yeah, without giving spoilers, because like obviously the manga's out, but the anime and manga aren't too far apart these days. Like they're far enough, but they're not too far apart these days. So like you might not have seen what's going on. Shit's gonna get fucking wild in One Piece. It's people are eating. One Piece fans are eating. There's some good shit there. I'm very excited about it as an enjoyer of the show, and it's been a little while since I talked about One Piece, but yeah, stuff's good. Oda made a really big, wild choice. Like I would describe that choice that Oda made about this as wild. He made a wild choice about that. In many ways, fundamentally changes One Piece. Possibly not for the better, but it is fucking cool as hell what he did. So it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's cool. So, yeah. Chits, you should get caught up on One Piece, is what I'm saying. If you've been watching One Piece, you should get caught up on One Piece. I want to talk about it, don't want to spoil for anime only. And of course, Nathan, that's what I'm saying too. Like it's a big, weird thing. And yeah, we don't have to get into spoiler talk. But yeah, it's good. It's a thing I've been looking forward to. Sometimes when you read the manga and then you're watching the anime, you're like, I can't I bet they're not gonna. I bet they're not gonna stick the landing. I think they'll stick the landing on this. Also, it's just something that I bet is gonna look wild animated. That's really the thing. Like, I just want to see how they do it as a piece of animation. We're gonna wrap things up here. I just want to finish this one section here. But yeah, tomorrow playing that game, the mini game collection of the games you see in terrible ads as a game whose name I can never quite say right, so that is why I'm looking it up, which is, of course, yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. That is what we're playing tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you check that out. It's going to be real silly and fun. And I'll be talking about the Hearthstone expansion, which I will also be playing tomorrow as it comes out. Start a new month and the Hearthstone expansion. It's a great time for me. I've got so much gold to open card packs. That'll be tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you come and check that out. We'll continue working on this. We might finish this. I'll do a poll at some point to see where we are here on the AE86 and what else we needed, what we should do next, because we might wrap this up. Like I said, there are stickers. There's still plenty of card left to build, so I just like to know ahead of time. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find somebody doing cool shit out there that we want to go spend a little time with. I'm going to find out if Mary Kish is streaming, because it's Monday and Mary streams on Monday, but sometimes she doesn't stream on Monday because life gets in the way. But we like to raid Mary Kish if Mary Kish is raiding. As John says, we always end with a raid. And Mary Kish is raiding. She's streaming, I should say. She's playing Frog Song. And it's apparently her partner anniversary. Oh, cool. So we definitely got to raid Mary if it's her fucking partner anniversary. That's awesome. So let's go give Mary a raid. It's her partner anniversary. Yes, it is. She is streaming. That's great. We always end with a raid. We're going to go hang out with Mary. Feel free to come along on this raid again tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come back here to Pat Bear's Anime Club. Pat Bear's Anime Club. To the bonus stream. And, Mary's very loud in my ear, so I'm going to turn that down before we raid. But yeah, come along on this raid. Come back tomorrow for a weird video game collection. It'll be a good time. And if it sucks, we'll bounce out of it and play another game. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hope to see you on the next stream. Talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Thank you very much, VOD watchers.